Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City. In this video, I'll answer a question that I get a lot, and that is, which expert modular building should I start off with in 2019? Previously, I've released a video on which modular building I think is best to start off with. I've also done a video on which I think is the worst modular building. However, this video is a bit different because I'm going to focus on sets that you can get in 2019. Basically, Lego expert modular buildings that are not retired and you still can get at retail prices online at Lego stores or departmental stores. Of course, you can get almost any retired set on the secondary market like Bricklink or eBay, but that's not the focus of this video. So I'm just going to focus on sets that you can get in 2019 as of the filming of this video in January 2019. Of course, these recommendations are based on my own preferences and bias. However, I will give you reasons and justifications on why I think certain sets are better than others. Here are the things I look for in an expert modular building: aesthetic design, variety in design, build experience, play features, and how it fits into a custom Lego city. This point may not be applicable to everyone since not everyone wants to build a Lego city. But I do know that a lot of people are interested to build a custom Lego city but just don't feel they have the space or the resources. However, hopefully through my channel and my videos, I've shown that it's possible to build a great Lego city even though you don't have a large space. The final variable is price of the set. However, I'm not going to put a big emphasis on price simply because all these sets are expensive. There is some variance in price, such as the bigger sets like the assembly square, but by and large the prices of the sets are about the same. They're all expensive, so I won't make this a large determining factor when purchasing an expert modular building. So let's get started with the recommendations. The assembly square could possibly be the best and worst choice to be your first expert modular building in 2019. I'll go with the best first. Virtually almost every Lego fan of the expert modular buildings will agree that this is probably the most detailed and complex of all the modular buildings, because this is a 10-year anniversary celebration of the expert modular buildings, and it takes design elements of all the previous modular buildings. So in terms of variety of build, you get tons of that. There are just so many different sections and parts to this build. You have so much fun building it. There are many different elements and concepts and businesses within this build as well. There's a dentist's office, a photographer's studio, an apartment, a music store, and the list goes on. On the ground floor, we have a cafe, flower shop, and a bakery. So there's just so many things to build. There are many different build techniques with snot techniques, different colors. You get a whole range of different bricks. So in terms of build techniques, this will also be a very interesting and exciting build. Even from the back, you can see the texture of the different styles of builds and how different buildings come together to form one complete set. So in terms of the build experience, the aesthetic design, the variety in design, you can't go wrong with the assembly square. It is the best choice to make. It is a bit more expensive than the rest simply because it is bigger. But if you could only buy one set and you only want one expert modular building for your collection, or maybe you want to build a small Lego street or scene around a set, this is the choice to make. Now, why did I say it was possibly the worst? And that's because it's such a good set. If this is the very first expert modular building you buy, you might actually be disappointed with subsequent buildings because they just aren't as interesting. You won't get so many build techniques and variety in a single set. So that's the only downside. Other than that, this is a great set and would be my top recommendation to start off with in 2019. My second recommendation is the detective's office. If you've been watching my videos, you know that aside from the assembly square, but for a regular expert modular building, the detective's office is my favorite. I think it's aesthetically pleasing. There's just so many elements. There's great variety to the build because there's just 3 different sections to the build or looks. There's a barber shop, there's the pub, and there's a detective's office, which the set is named after. I do like the way it's designed. There are many different angles, there's an indentation, there are different levels, and many different bricks and parts used to create this look. This 3D sign is also really nice, and I think it's one of the most distinctive features of the set. Even from behind, you do get a bit of variety and you can see the distinctive colors of all the different sections of the build. This part is a bit plain now, but this allows you to customize it yourself. You can try your hand at mocking, especially if you are new. Now, mocking is my own creation. We can also call it customization or modifications. And you can add some designs. Maybe you can add a small garden, you can add tiling, and it's a great way to practice getting to customizations of your sets without actually impacting the rest of the design. So I see that as a potential plus point. There are also play features in this particular build. There is a storyline built into the set. I won't spoil it for you so that you can enjoy it when you get it, but it's a really nice small play feature and how they incorporated the concept with the detective's office. So overall, I think this is a great set for all the reasons I mentioned. And if you can only get one set and you do not want to get Assembly Square, this, in my opinion, is the best set to get. This next set is a favorite of many, and some even preferred over the detective's office. So I really think it's personal preference. To me, this will be my 3rd recommendation. The Parisian Restaurant, just like the detective's office, is very aesthetically pleasing. There's this very nice olive green color, which is not that common, and goes very well with the dark blue, the white, and the light gray. The variety of design is actually very interesting as well because there are many elements to this single building. Now, this is mainly the restaurant, which is on the ground floor. There's an apartment and an art studio on the top floor. But even as a single build like that, it's different from the detective's office in the sense that that had 3 distinct sections within this build. This is really one big building. However, you can see they've designed it in such a way that there are just so many different elements and levels. Just the way they did the stairs on the back and the angles of the building really make it really pretty. It's also detailed on the inside, which is a big bonus. And if you are building a Lego city, you definitely need some kind of restaurant, so that's why this is a great recommendation. So I would tie this actually with 2nd place with the detective's office, and it's really on your personal preference which particular set appeals to you more. One thing that differentiates the Parisian Restaurant and the detective's office is that this can act as a corner building as well. It can be set between 2 modulars, but it also works well as a corner building, and I actually use this as a corner building in my brick beach for my Lego city. A corner build basically means it can be placed at the end of a row of modular buildings and used as a bookend. So if you're building a custom Lego city, this might be a consideration. This next set is the Brick Bank, and it is actually a retired set in 2019, but you still can get it quite easily and can even get it at a discount at certain departmental stores and toy stores, and that is why I included it in this video. Some people do not like the Brick Bank, they think it's a bit plain in design, but I'm the complete opposite. I actually think it is really interesting. I think it looks really stately and fits the look of a bank. And so all these details like the ingots, the pillars inside the walls, this relief design just above the door, and the clock, all this really makes it look like a stately building in my opinion. And every Lego city needs a bank, so this fits in perfectly. Some people do not like the fact there's a laundry mat directly next to the bank, and this is part of the split design of this particular build. But actually, if you look in small cities and towns, this can be quite possible. You might find small builds or small businesses like a laundromat next to a bank. It might not be a standalone building. And in terms of this build, there's actually a storyline built in as well, which brings me to the play feature of this set. Because of the concept of the story and the play feature, there's a reason why there's a laundry mat and the building is designed this way. So to me, that is bonus points that makes it a really fun build. But overall, I do recommend this set, not over the detective's office. Now, it's a toss-up between the Parisian Restaurant and the Brick Bank for me. So if you're looking for just a few sets, again, it's personal preference. If you're building a Lego city, you might want to weigh which is more important, a bank or a restaurant. These two sets are the Downtown Diner and the Corner Garage, and these are actually the latest modular buildings from Lego. This was released in 2018 and the Corner Garage was just released in 2019. And I put them in kind of a tie because I think these two builds are similar in the sense they're quite specific in their theme and the look, and they may or may not fit your preferences and your desire to fit them in a Lego city. Let me explain. The Downtown Diner has a very distinct American 1950s feel. So it is themed in that retro look, and you need to like this particular look or at least have some affinity with it, and you must be able to fit it into a Lego city if you have one. The build itself is pretty nice. I mean, the techniques, the looks and the colors, they work quite well. But the concept is a bit specific. The second floor is a gym and the third floor is a recording studio. A bit random in my opinion, but it is a functional build, and I think it does add to a Lego city in terms of the look that is different. But even among Lego fans, there was a bit of division of whether they liked it. I think fair to say, compared to the Parisian Restaurant, the Detective's Office and the Brick Bank, most people felt that this was not up to that same standard, and I do tend to agree. The Corner Garage is also a bit divisive in the sense that it was not what people expected. It is another corner build. Oh, by the way, the diner is not a corner build, it's an inset build. However, I think it does function well as a corner build just due to the rounded design. But this is a corner build, and in fact, it's a bit smaller than most buildings because a lot of space was kept for this driveway for vehicles to top up their petrol. So it's a garage and gas station on the ground floor. On the second floor, it's a vet's office, and the third floor is an apartment. But the biggest difference for the Corner Garage among the other sets, first, it's a bit more expensive, and second, the interior was not detailed as well, especially the detailing for the flooring. It was not tiled, and this left quite a few fans disappointed. In terms of the build experience, it is not that fun to build. The ground floor is pretty cool. There's some moving parts of the garage, but the second and third floors, while it has an angled design, which is a new technique and uses this new part, which is a rounded plate, it is quite repetitive for the two floors. So it's not as fun as, say, the Parisian Restaurant or the Detective's Office, or maybe even the Downtown Diner. Now, because of the use of this driveway to have vehicles, and both these sets do come with vehicles, by the way, you need to set it in a Lego city which has roads and that has vehicles. If you don't have that, then it might be pointless. However, I have shown how to convert the Corner Garage into a corner cafe as well as a hotel, and you can check out that video in the link in the card above or in the description below. But if you do want to buy it and keep it as it is without any modifications, then you're kind of stuck with what it is. That's why I say these two are quite specifically themed, and I think they'll appeal to you only if you have a specific preference or bias towards these builds. If not, they will fall under my least favorite of all the modular builds that are available in 2019. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts and recommendations on the expert modular buildings for 2019. Do you agree with my thoughts, and which of these modular buildings do you think is best to start off with in 2019? Let me know if you have just started getting to modular buildings and if you have a preference as well. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.